Agents, have you ever dealt with somebody, whether it's business or personal, and they can never admit when they're wrong, or they can't admit when they drop the ball? You are not going to be that type of agent. We're not going to be that type of agent. And so I kind of had a fumble, and I'm going to share with you what that fumble was. Thankfully, it all worked out, but stay tuned for this quick story time. So I got my clients under contract on a resale home. Now, I specialize in new construction, but I'm very familiar with resale homes. So did a contract, and they're under contract and everything, and it's time to pay the earnest money. And I told him to make the check out to my broker. They go to drop the check off to the closing attorney, and the closing attorney is like, this should be made out to the closing attorney. Duh. Yes. How did I make that mistake? I usually have the broker hold the earnest money, because let's be honest, I don't want to do those 2 additional forms, the F10, the F510, and the F511. I think that's right. If not, it'll be here. We already have enough forms that have to go into a contract. I'm like, now I got to add 2 more for the closing attorney. So I just haven't been doing that. I really don't do that often unless it's requested. So with this one, I went ahead and did it, and I'm like, well, why did you do it this time? It's probably because we have 8,000 forms to fill out anyway. Now we have additional forms for compensation, and then they added a temporary occupancy agreement. So I'm like, listen, I'm doing all these forms. Let me just go ahead and have the closing attorney hold it. So I made the correction on paper and had the forms there, but I did not make the correction in my mind. So just FYI, if your broker is holding the funds, they make it out to the broker. If the closing attorney is holding the funds, they make it out to the closing attorney. But the reason for this video is that when the client told me, I'm just like, my gosh, they called me. They're at the closing attorney's office. They're about to go out of town. They're trying to drop this check off and leave out of town. And I'm like, I first and foremost, I apologize. And I was like, yes, I made a mistake. I am sorry. So I gave them some options to, you could leave it there. I'll pick it up. It's the closing attorney that's with my brokerage. So I'm like, just leave it there, even though it's at a different location. I'll go pick it up, and I'll do an amendment saying that the closing attorney is going to be held by the broker. And she's like, no, I don't want you to have to do an amendment. I'm like, well, I don't want you to have to drive back home to go get a check. Cause that was the other thing. They wrote a check and they didn't bring their book with them. So they just decided home wasn't too far. So they went home, got a different check, dropped it off, and then they let me know. And then they went ahead and headed out of town they went out of town. And then also during that same day, we are talking about the inspection report. We're in our due diligence. So we had a conference call with the home inspector because they had a couple of questions. After getting the report, they did attend the inspection towards the end, but once they got the report, they had additional questions. So we did a conference call, and I was on that, and then got with them later on. Mind you, they're still traveling, they're driving. And then they let me know what items that they had in mind to, bring up to the seller. And then I, told them what I had in mind. So yeah, all that was done in the same day, but just letting you know, it started off with me fumbling, making a mistake, but I did, apologize for it, and it all worked out. They're really sweet, and I appreciate them for, not blowing a gasket, even though it is something light, but I know I don't like people wasting my time, and I don't like to be inconvenienced. So thankfully they're not of the temperament that they just went off the rails. And so I just want to share, just, go ahead and make the mistake, because I have dealt with people, business and personal, and they never do anything wrong. Like, they could have spun it like, that must be a new change. I don't know why that's happening. Let me call them. I could have done everything that I could think of to not admit that I made a mistake, but no, that does not give somebody confidence working with you if you're going to be that type of agent. It's like, okay, like, I hope they see that, okay, yeah, if she does make a mistake, she's going to let us know. Or if she does say something, like, she'll, correct it or let us know, versus having that temperament. Like, no, I'm never wrong. What I say is always gospel. So just wanted to share that with you. I hope you guys are doing well. Be sure to check out the podcast, grab the book if you haven't purchased it already. I greatly appreciate it. It is on Amazon. What else? Be sure to check out the website. I will have classes and more resources coming, so you can check it out there. And I think that's about it. I hope you're doing well. I hope your year is shaping out to be a great year. Well, depending on when this video is going up. So as of right now, it is November 24. So I hope your 24 is wrapping up good. Hope you had a great year. If you didn't, I hope you're gearing up for 25. All right. Have a positive peaceful and productive day.